Okay, let's give this a few seconds. Hopefully this is starting. I guess I'm gonna do another what I would change about Dragon Ball FighterZ if there was a season 3 now instead of a season 2. Before I go into that, wow, this is really fucking forced, isn't it? You know, I actually watched. This was just kind of interesting to me because this is almost like vlogging now, right? Before I get into what I'm going to talk about, actually, I was watching that Evo. I watched a little bit of that Evo 2000. I guess it's 2019, right? And I'm watching some of the Guilty Gear, dude. And I know I posted about this on Twitter. Like, dude, I was so fucking surprised that they actually said Big Blue. And if anyone doesn't know, Big Blue. And they said Big Blue and all these other catchphrases that I used to say. Like, I don't watch a lot of streams, I don't like any, for American Guilty Gear. So do people you actually say stuff like Big Blue and all this kind of stuff that were actually terms that I coined, actually? And it's funny because I remember back in the day, a lot of these Guilty Gear things, like, people hated that I called these moves, that I made up all these weird names for things. And Big Blue was one of the names that people hated that I made up. Like, what is it, like 20 years ago, whenever Guilty Gear came out, and people just refused to call it that. And now people are calling it Big Blue. Is it because I'm known kind of again because of Dragon Ball FighterZ or something? I'm not sure, but I was so surprised. And then I heard like other terms that actually came from me. So I thought that was, I guess I'm jacking myself off right now, but I was pretty fucking surprised. And you know, it's kind of funny because I know, like, God, I'm just kind of like mashing buttons here right now. Like I said, hopefully this is taping, but I was surprised too, or something else. You know, a lot of people talk about fuzzy guard, blah 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 blah. I don't even know if people know this. To people that are like new to me, that don't remember me from back in the day, like, a lot of people probably don't even realize. Like I said, a lot of things for Guilty Gear, even something like fuzzy guard and how it works and all the jump fuzzy guard stuff. I was the person that even told people about that stuff. Even stuff fuzzy guard did not exist before I told the community about it. So that just goes to show you, like, how long I've been in games. And it's just crazy to hear these terms that are just so, you know, widespread now. And even like the funny terms I made up, like Big Blue, like, that's kind of weird to me. But anyway, so Dragon Ball FighterZ Season 3. I don't really know what I want to do for this because I don't want to get too in depth with this because it feels like it's pointless because the fucking creators aren't even going to add a fucking counter hit, right? They don't even add fucking counter hits in this game, so that's how ridiculous this is. But, you know, I mean, guys, I have like Piccolo on the screen and like, let's fuck this. Before we do this, you know, one question I get asked is why don't I do Beerus stuff and about Beerus kind of like meta and tech. And I've said this before. I'm going to use an example of Vegito to show this off too, right? Because I don't really care about Beerus, but Beerus is a conundrum of the game because Beerus runs that fine line of if his fireball was a beam, it would just be too good, dude, because you can't reflect it or like homie dash out of it. It would be too good, but he also doesn't work as well because the game gives you options to beat all that stuff, right? Do you know what I mean? So he's like that conundrum. Either you're going to make him too good or he's just probably not going to be that good. You know, that's just the way the game works, right? And I've said this before too, and hopefully people get what I'm trying to say. I've said this before, but Dragon Ball FighterZ fails because of fundamental flaws in what make a fighting game. It doesn't fail because of stuff like this. It actually succeeds because of this, because Dragon Ball FighterZ has done something different with the fireball, reflecting, homing dash, you know, those kind of metas of the game are the best things about the game comparatively to another game because it's actually something it's doing different. So in that sense, it succeeds in being a new game. Dragon Ball FighterZ fails because it doesn't do other fundamental stuff of fighting games well, okay? So people think I hate all fighting games. No, I'm just a very, like, objective person. You know what I mean? People love everything all the time, and they don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, or, you know, everything's not so black and white, guys. But so anyway, like, let's look at a thing like this reflecting shit with Vegito. And before I get into this, a lot of people didn't know or didn't get what I was trying to say with the reflecting shit for Vegito. So let me see if I can set this correctly. So I want him to be guarding all, right? Now, so if I were to do something like, hopefully I do this right, I'm going to do, wait, boom, boom, okay. So now if I set him to reflect, he shouldn't be able to reflect this, right? Even though it's a fireball, and you're supposed to be able to reflect out of things, he shouldn't be able to reflect this if I did this correctly, right? So where's reflect? Okay, so you saw he couldn't reflect that. He did do a fireball though, right? Or yeah, keep him on reflect, right? But now, watch if I do it like this. He's going to be able to reflect, right? Oh, he reflected immediately, right? So it didn't even work, right? So boom, boom, he's already reflecting, right? So there you go. So that's the secret, and I've explained how you can do this. You can do, and not only Vegito, but other characters can do this too. You can make your moves unreflectable, actually. It's just that it's not always realistic, right? And that's how I did that infinite block string, and you can kind of mix it up, and it makes it actually unreflectable in a common sense version of the game, actually. So that's how I did that, but I don't know why people weren't really getting what I was saying, but okay, so let me just set this because I'm on the computer to do this to me. Let's look at a thing. Let's look at so Beerus has this idea that fireballs all over the screen, and then if they were beams, you know what I mean, you couldn't reflect out of it. Let's just look how this would work, even with a character like Vegito, right? And what am I going to get into? I wonder if the game will ever progress enough to the point that they might make certain moves, only reflectable, and certain moves both reflectable and homing dashable audible. Did that make sense? It's not even fucking English, right? I don't speak English, so whatever the fuck, right? I just play video games, but... So, because I don't know if they'd ever do it, but I think theoretically, if the game keeps progressing, they could maybe have certain moves that you can only reflect out of and not homing dash, right? But I don't know, right? Or maybe even eventually they'll get to a point where sparking fireballs get beam properties. But again, that's really going to benefit certain other characters more so than others. So I don't know if they want characters to be unique like that in this game. But look at a character like Vegito, right? So remember that string I did too? I showed you can make your fireballs unreflectable, right? So if we were to do... Oh, God, what am I doing? So let's just say something like this first of all, right? So I'm going to have him do... Oh, God, what do I want to do? I should have, like, pre-planned this. Boom, boom, and I'm... Wow, this controller fucking sucks. Sorry, guys. And I'm holding back, so I should block automatically, right? So if I just do this... Boy, that's just easy, dude. I mean, that he can't block that, we're shit, right? I mean, I timed that badly, but wait, boom. Yeah, he can't block that. He can fucking mash that. That's fucking retarded. But let's say if I were to do something like... if I'm doing something like... Because this string, if you were to go like this then, that actually is safe, right? So if I timed it right. Alright, come on, motherfucker. Oh, it wasn't even safe from there. Time out. I guess you gotta be a little farther away. Wow, I just totally fucked my bullshit, didn't I, guys? There you go. I was mashing that time fast, right? So the point what I was trying to show you, though, there, is because you can time that, so you can... that fireball does a little bit more stun what I was trying to show, so that could theoretically make some mix-ups work, right? Hopefully I'm going to try to get to eventually what I'm going to be showing here. So if we're to get into an idea of something like a mix-up that might be fun for Vegito, is if we were to do blah, 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 and then you dash in or something, or if you go like blah, 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 and you go for high-low, mix-up, fuck my shit, right? But even though that's how the move probably should work when you look at it, it just doesn't work like that because you can just... Oh, well, I already fucking... No matter what you do, you can always get out of that. It's just not fucking safe enough, right, dude? Do you know what I mean? It just... Because it doesn't work in the context of the game, right? I mean, if you could only reflect it, that wouldn't be as bad, but the fact that you actually, for doing a move, theoretically, if the person sees you, can get hit... You're getting hit for trying to do a move like that? That's retarded. You can't even go for the fucking mix-up, right? So that's like a thing where I would say, and again, of course, if you were to do something like this, though, max range, you know what I mean? That actually is safe. But even then, if I do like this, right? I'm going to be mashing. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can hear my mashing skills. You don't even have time. You don't even have time to, like, start to do the mix-up, dude, because you can... It's only safe for blocking. Alright, so I'm going to try to do this again so I don't sound like a complete fucking liar. I'm holding back, and that should... Dude, I'm holding back. I'm like, God, this controller is so bad, dude. Fuck my shit. Yeah. So see, that's blockable, right? So if you do that string to make your fireball unreflectable, but still, it's not safe enough or enough advantage that you can actually go for a legitimate mix-up, right? Or even, you know, he has shit like this, blah, blah. Sorry, what am I doing? blah, blah. Dude, this controller is really bad, dude. I'm trying to dash right now. Whatever. Like, stuff like that is fun, right? But the thing is, theoretically, all right, I should be trying to block, right? So just so you can see that it's just is, boom. So, you know, theoretically, whoa, this controller is so bad right now, dude. Fuck my shit. So, boom, I saw the fireball, boom. So you can't even theoretically get the mix-up. So say in a situation like this, though, at least if it was only reflectable, dude, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. You know what I mean? Technically, you're still safe even if you can't go for the mix-up. So there are a little bit of problems in the mindset of game in this game in terms of aspect of moves like that, right? Like, you shouldn't actually be... Like, I understand the idea that... Because the thing is, you can't even go for the mix-up of what the move looks like, right? Like, dude, I should be able to go for a mix-up off of stuff like that. Like, I can understand, like, this. Oh, that might be too good. Fuck my titties. Blah, 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 fuck my blah, blah, blah. Whatever, right? I can understand maybe they might think that's too good. But the fact that you actually, if the dude is just mashing homing dash or sees it, you actually get hit for even doing it. You can't even start the mix-up. That is a flaw in the game, right? So I don't know how you would exactly fix that. Otherwise, potentially, for the being saying, like, maybe this move, you can't homing dash out of it. Maybe certain fireballs are only reflectable audible, not homing dash and audible, right? Because theoretically, there should be mix-ups like that. This move is pretty slow, dude. That's how the move should work, right? Do you know what I mean? So I can see certain things like that, but then you get into the, wait a second, Clay. But what if you're just like, oh, if you're running away and doing shit like that, and then you're like safe, then it's like, well, fuck, maybe then it's kind of cheap, right? It's like, well, fuck, what do I do against that? I can't homing dash out of it. The move is fucking the full fucking screen, right? So it's like, whoa, well, wait a second. Even though the move should function like this, I mean, that's a legitimate function that is fun. You know what I mean? That shit should be realistic. And it's like, okay, well, I can't homing dash on it, I can only reflect out. But then you're like, what about you get into situations like this, right? And it's like, that's fucking cheap. That's fucking cheap then, dude. That's too good. That's just like I was saying for Gohan, dude. Everyone was saying, like, oh, Team Gohan's fireball should be unhoming dashable, audible, whatever. It's like, well, yeah, he should have mix-ups. Well, I don't have Gohan to show that, right? He should have mix-ups like that, right, dude? He should. But then what about when you get into the point in the match where he's just like, oh, fireball, fireball, fireball. And it's like, dude, you can't punish that correctly then, right? Because then that makes the move stupid. So... And this is just characters that are not Beerus, right? Beerus' whole gameplay plan runs around this, right? So that's what I'm just saying. So it's like, what are you going to do, dude? That's the game. Like, people ask me, what would I change for Beerus? And it's like, well, fuck, I don't know, dude, because you're talking about changing the only thing that is actually legitimately different in the game that makes it a different game. And that's just an unfortunate thing, right? So, again, what are you going to do? I mean, in certain things like that... You know what? I mean, this should be a legitimate mix-up, but it's like, how do you make it a legitimate mix-up in the game and fair? I mean, maybe if a character sparks, you know, for their 5 or 10 seconds, however it lasts, maybe fireballs count as a beam. I guess you could maybe do that. Maybe that would be a sparking buff. And, of course, certain characters are really going to take advantage of it better than others, dude. But what do you do? That's a conundrum of the game, dude. Right? So... God, I don't know, dude, and it sucks because, again, like, Vegito has this thing. I fucked it up the first time, but hopefully you saw it third time, right? Like, you can make that string you can make that actually safe in some situations, but even then, it's not safe enough to go for a mix-up, right? So it's like, dude, what are you gonna do, dude? So that's why this game really needs other fun. You know, it sucks, dude, but the only fireball move, if you roll your finger and you press the circle button, maybe it takes away a couple of notches and that fireball becomes a beam. So at least you're wasting meter to get these unreflectable and unhoming dashable things, right? I mean, that is something they could add to the game for everybody, dude. That could be, every character could do that. After you press X to do a fireball move, and if you roll your finger to circle quick enough, maybe it takes 2 bars. Maybe it takes 3 bars, but it makes it a fireball that is unreflectable, and you get like a different kind of mix-up, dude, right? I mean, it could be this game's version of a FRC, basically, right? You know what I mean? I could see potentially something like that happening, but that was just basically me trying to show you a conundrum of even a character that's not like Beerus. Look at a character like Vegito, right? Like, shit like that, you feel like that should be a legitimate kind of mix-up. Like, you shouldn't be able to homie dash out of that. I can see reflecting out of it, right? Boom, boom. Look how fucking slow this is, dude. That should be legitimate, dude. But it's like, okay, so it's like, even if we make this legitimate and you can't homing dash out of it, it's only reflectable, you get into situations like this, and it's like, oh god, motherfucker, this motherfucker is running away doing this kind of fucking bullshit, dude. And it's like, oh god, fuck my titties, that is so fucking stupid. That would just be really annoying, dude. And that's just a character, like, you know, someone whose game plan isn't even focused around that, right? So as for other characters, what I would do, you know, it would just take too long to do stuff. I know shit like this, hopefully. I don't know how long I've been rambling. Like, certain things like this is stupid. What is he? He's, like, ducking, right? Like, why the fuck? I'm grabbing this dude's fucking junk. Why doesn't that fucking grab? That's fucking retarded. Fucking giving him a dick gripper, dude. Jacking him off. Like, you know, there's so many flaws of the game with random things, you know what I mean? I would have his move be that beats reflect. I've actually thought that maybe Piccolo's thing, maybe that's maybe the whole thing's reflectable, but then the mix-up is that, you know what I mean? You can't reflect that. That's his unreflectable move that said, so that's the mix-up that people get scared. That would make, you know, god, dude, so much shit, dude. I would change so much shit in the game. I have Kid Buu here. I don't know how they fucking forgot to put Kid Buu's fucking flying squirrel in this game, right? They could have made that like fucking Carnal's balloon, right? But anyway, dude, so, yeah, there's so much shit I would change about the game, dude, but I don't want to keep rambling about this shit, because they can't even fucking add counter hits in this game. Let me make sure I do this shit right, because I'm sad I fucked that up. I'm sorry, dude. Holding back. I'm going to be mashing. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there we go, block. And I imagine, hope you could hurt. Yeah, so you can make it safe if you do that string to make the unreflectable fireball, right? Because the unreflectable fireball does more block stuff, actually, kind of, in a way. So you can actually make some of those setups safe, but it's only safe enough to make it so you don't get punished. Not even safe enough to go for the mix-up, dude. So it's like, fuck me. But anyway, too much rambling at the end for now, unless people really, really want to see the other characters.